Okay, so let's start standing on our mat. So this is slow hatha yoga. And we're going to start by standing with our feet hip width apart, our palms open at our sides. And we're just going to stand in mountain pose with our shoulders back, our chest high, our core tight. And we're just going to stand in mountain and breathe in through our nose and out through our nose, just orienting ourselves to the room and to our practice, focusing on getting our feet feeling securely planted on the mat, just doing a slight scan of our body to see how we're feeling today. How is everything feeling? Our head and our neck and our back and our shoulders. If we have any place that we feel could use a little extra attention or love and attention today. So let's inhale as we sweep our arms up, inhaling up and exhaling down. And inhaling up and exhaling down. One more time, inhale up, sweeping our arms up as we inhale, and exhale as we sweep our arms down. Now let's inhale, bringing our arms up with our palms facing each other but not touching, pressing our fingertips up to the sky. Again, keeping our shoulder blades down our back, our shoulders back, our core tight, and exhale down. Let's do that again. Inhale up, palms facing but not touching, just almost feeling the heat between your palms as we just press our fingertips up to the sky, and then exhale down. Inhale up one more time, palms facing but not touching, fingertips pressing up to the ceiling, feeling the heat between our palms, just feeling, and then dropping our arms down. Now let's take our arms and our hands and place our hands behind our back, interlace our fingers, and just press our chest forward and our shoulders back. And then just as we are exhaling, let's hinge forward from our hips. So let's inhale and exhale as we hinge forward from our hips, lifting our arms up behind us. Again, just feeling that stretch, just letting our head be heavy, keeping our knees soft, and then coming back up again, releasing our hands. This time, let's sweep our arms up overhead, interlace our fingers together, and then turn our palms up so they're facing up to the ceiling with our interlaced fingers. And then turn our palms back over and exhale down. Do that again. Inhale up, interlace our fingers, turn our palms over, pressing our palms up to the ceiling, and then releasing and coming down. Do one more time. Inhaling up, interlace our fingers, turn our palms up, pressing up to the ceiling. And again, this time, if our neck allows, just look slightly up, just to open our throat slightly, and then exhale down. Again, let's roll our shoulders. Let's take our palms, interlace our fingers behind our back, press our chest forward again, bring our shoulder blades back and our shoulders behind us. Just bring the shoulder blades behind us together and just inhale. Just going to hold in this position, breathing in through our nose and out through our nose. And now releasing. Let's lift our arms up. Again, palms facing each other but not touching. Dropping our right arm down, keeping our left arm up, and just pressing over to the side with our fingertips slightly open, with our arm close to our ear, feeling our stretch at the side of our body, and then exhaling down. To inhale up, palms facing but not touching, dropping our left arm down, just pressing our right arm just close to our ear, slightly to the side, fingertips wide, feeling a stretch all the way up the side of our body. And then drop our arm down. Take our hands to heart center. Let's turn so we're facing the short edge of the mat. And let's just move into flying bird. And again, in flying bird, we step back with our right foot and our left knee stays bent. We open up our arms and then we exhale as we step forward. We step back with our left, keep our right knee bent, open up our arms, big inhale, exhale as we step forward. Let's just alternate, stepping back with our right foot, opening up our arms, exhaling and stepping forward. Stepping back with our left, opening our arms, bringing our hands together as we exhale. Now let's try to step back and open our arms up at the same time. So we inhale as we step back and we exhale as we step forward. We inhale as we step back. We exhale as we step forward. Let's continue to just stepping back, exhaling forward. Continue to do this with our own breath, our own pace, taking our time. We're just warming up our legs. We're also bringing our right and left sides together so that we're building on our balance. Stepping back. Let's do 2 more. So starting with the right, let's do 1 and left. And other side, right and left. And then bring our hands to heart center. Let's place our feet so that they're hip width apart. Sit back into chair. Open our arms up wide. Sweep our hands in front of our bent knees and come all the way up. Opening up our arms wide, pressing our fingertips away. Then sitting back into chair again. Sweeping our arms in front of our bent knees. Coming all the way up again. Sit back into chair. Sweep our arms in front of our bent knees. Come all the way up. Let's do that again. Sit back into chair. Sweep our arms. Come all the way up. And last time, sit back into chair. Sweep our arms. Come all the way up. Hands to heart center. Let's just do flying bird 1 more time. Stepping back with our right, arms open, stepping forward. Stepping back with our left, arms open, stepping forward. Stepping back, stepping forward, stepping back, stepping forward, stepping back. Bring our hands to heart center. This time we're going to sit back into chair and we're just going to lift our right heel up off the mat, just stretching the bottom of our foot, stretching the sole of our foot as much as we're able. Our toes can be very stiff, so just whatever is comfortable. Placing that heel back down, stretching lifting the heel of our left foot and just stretching the bottom of our foot. Placing the heel down. 1 more time each side. Right heel up. Left heel up. Beautiful. And then straightening up, opening up our arms. We're going to swan dive all the way down to the mat and we're going to move into cat and cow. So let's bend our knees, swan dive all the way down, come on down to hands and knees. And let's start by just bringing our knees wide, toes together behind us, and come all the way back down to our first child's pose. So let's just relax into child's pose. Just let our gravity bring our hips down. We're going to hold here for 5 breaths. Now let's come up as we take our 5th exhale. Let's bring our knees directly underneath our hips. Bring our wrists directly under our shoulders. Make sure that our fingers are spread wide and that we are evenly distributed so that our shoulders are over our arms are straight, our knees and our hips are in a straight line. And let's move into cat and cow. So let's drop our tailbone, round our back, look through our legs, and then As we inhale, we lift our tailbone, drop our chest, and we look straight ahead. And then as we exhale, we drop our tailbone, round our back, look through our legs. Let's just continue to move through cat and cow in whatever sequence feels good for your back today. We always want to lead with our tailbone. And we inhale when we're up high. And we exhale as we look through our legs. So let's just continue a couple more of each, or holding in one or the other if one feels better than the other. And then we are just going to take our last cat or cow, whichever we're at. Come back into flat back. Bring our knees wide to the long edge of the mat. Bring our big toes together. Press back into child's pose. And we're going to hold in child's pose for 5 breaths. Just again, just letting gravity bring our hips down. Just feeling them slightly softened from last time. Holding here for 5 breaths. Now let's come back up. Bring our knees in so that they are underneath our hips again. Make sure our arms are directly under our shoulders. Our feet can be flat or our toes can be turned under, whichever feels better. And let's move into spinal balance. In spinal balance, we're going to start by lifting our right leg at hip height with the toes to the floor. Just going to hold and press that foot far behind us. Really feeling somebody trying to push your foot. So it's like you're pushing that away. Place that knee back on the mat. Let's lift our left leg, again at hip height, toes pointed to the floor, really pressing hard. Just continuing to breathe, keeping hips level. Bring knee back down to the mat. Let's do one more with just legs. Again, focusing on keeping our hips level, toe to the floor, really engaging our leg, not just lifting it, but really, really pressing that foot behind us. And place the knee down again. Left leg up. Again, hip height, toes to the floor, pressing that foot away. Knee down. Now right leg up. And now this time, left arm as well. So let's lift the left arm, thumb to the ceiling. Again, we're just going to hold this for 3 breaths. And now hand and knee to the mat, left leg up, right arm up, thumb to the ceiling. And let's just hold here for 3 breaths. And then hand and knee down. One more on each side. So right leg up, left arm up. Again, we can just lift our leg and our arm, but we really want to engage it. That's where we build our strength. It's to really, not just holding it, but really pressing away. Switching sides, right up, left arm. Again, really pressing. Another breath, and then coming down. Again, let's move into wide leg child's pose again. Bring our knees to the wide edge of the mat, big toes together. Press down. We should be starting to feel our hips are just getting a little softer each time we come into that child's pose. They're not quite so tight. Again, we'll just let gravity bring our knees down, bring our hips down. Let's come up as we take our 5th exhale, and again, bring our knees directly in line with our hips, wrists directly in line with our shoulders. And let's move into sunbird. This is This is a little bit of work for our core. So we're going to lift our right leg with a bent knee. And then we're going to round our back just like we did with cat and bring that knee to the same elbow. And then bring it straight up, round our back, bring our knee to our elbow. Bring it straight up again. And as we do this, just think about tightening our core as we bring our knee to our elbow. And we finish with our foot facing the ceiling and back to the mat. Let's do the left leg, bent knee, sole of the foot to the ceiling. Again, round our back. Think about tightening our core as we bring our knee to our elbow, coming up. Rounding our back, keeping our core tight, bringing our knee to our elbow. Back up again. One more time. Back up again. And bring our knees back down. And this time, let's keep our knees in line with our hips and just press back into child's pose. This time, keeping our arms long in front of us. Now let's walk those fingertips out as far as they'll go and just feel that stretch across our back. Now let's walk those fingertips back again, just letting our arms relax, but staying in child's pose. And let's bring our hips just over slightly to the right. And then back into center. Slightly over to the left. And back into center. And then let's walk those fingertips out again as far as they'll go. Just really stretching our back, feeling that stretch across our back. And walking our fingertips back in and just relaxing. And now let's have our arms out long in front of us as far as they'll go. And we're going to come up into kneeling plank. Kneeling plank, we have our shoulders over our fingertips. And then we press back again into child's pose with long arms. And then come back up. And again, we can do this in whatever timing we feel feels good. So we can inhale as we come up. And we can exhale back. If we want to move quickly, we just inhale up and exhale back. Or we can do it more slowly. We can come up and we can hold for an inhale and an exhale, and then press back for an inhale and an exhale. So do this in whatever timing you would like. And we can also, if we want, move into downward facing dog and full plank. We can just alternate there. Or we can stay in child's pose and kneeling plank, whatever feels best. Whatever we're doing, let's just do one more of each. And then come up into kneeling plank with our shoulder blades over our fingertips. And just holding with a relaxed shoulder, let's just bend our triceps slightly and come back up. Just bend our elbows, come back up. Doesn't have to be far, just a little bend, back up, and press back. And now let's just stay again in child's pose. Let's just relax here. Now let's come up. Let's bring our right leg forward. Again, we can have blocks here if we would like to have beside us. We don't need them, but if we want them, that's great. And we can stay in this kneeling plank, or we can lift up, kneeling lunge. We can stay in the kneeling lunge, or we can lift up into a full lunge if we want to work on strength. And we're just going to hold again and just relax into this kneeling lunge or full lunge. for 5 full breaths. And then if we are in a full lunge, we bring that knee down to the mat. So we're in a kneeling lunge. And then we walk our foot over to the long edge of the mat, and we just lean into that bent leg. Just let our hips soften up slightly. There should be no pain in the knee. It should feel like some tightness in the hip, but it should just feel not painful at all. Just hold here. I'm going to hold here for a full 5 breaths. And then we're going to walk our foot back in so that our knee and our ankle are in a straight line with our hands beside our foot. We turn the toe under of our left leg, lift up and press back. So we feel a stretch in our calf. And again, let's just hold here for a full 5 breaths. Now let's place that knee back down on the mat. Let's come up and bring our right leg back, bring our left leg forward, again into a kneeling lunge. Or if we would prefer to be up in a full lunge, we can stay in a full lunge for 5 breaths, whichever we would like. Just going to hold. Or if you want to just kind of go in between, come up into full, come down into kneeling, whatever feels good. And now if we're in a full lunge, we bring our knee straight down to the mat so that we're in a kneeling lunge and move our foot all the way over to the long edge of the mat. Lean into our leg. Just feel the stretch. One side, one hip will feel tighter than the other hip. And just let it soften slightly. Now let's walk that foot back in so that we have an ankle, our ankle and our knee are in a straight line. Turn the toe under in our right leg, lift up and press back so we feel our calf engage. And again, have our hands flat on the mat or on a block. And just hold here, feeling the stretch in our calf. Now let's come down. Let's do that one more time. Our poor hips that work so hard for us all week. Let's bring our right leg forward again. And again, we can be in a kneeling lunge or a full lunge, whichever you prefer, whichever feels good, or you can alternate between a kneeling lunge and a full lunge. And now if we are in a full lunge, we bring our knee all the way down to the mat. And then we walk our foot over to the long edge of the mat, lean into that leg and just see if it feels slightly loose or slightly softer this time. Just continuing to breathe, relaxing. And we want to come forward a little bit. So if we come back, we won't feel too much in our hip, but if we come forward, then we feel more of a stretch in our hip. Hold again. Now let's walk our foot back into the center. Ankle and knee are in a line. Turn toes under of our left leg. Lift up, press back. Feel our calf being stretched as we hold here for 5 breaths. Now let's drop our knee down. Let's bring our right leg back. Again, bring our left leg forward into a kneeling lunge. And again, we can hold in a kneeling lunge or we can lift up into a full crescent lunge, whichever we would like, or we can alternate. We can come down, press up, whatever we would like. Now, if we are in a full lunge, Let's bring that knee down to the mat. So we're in a kneeling lunge. And then walk our foot over to the long edge of the mat. And again, lean in. Remembering that we want to just come forward slightly so we feel the stretch in our hip flexor. Continuing to breathe. Just one of these things, I think, why don't I do this every day? This particular stretch. Now let's walk our foot back into center. So our ankle and our knee are in a straight line, making sure they're in a straight line. We just turn the toes under of our right foot, lift up and press back. So we feel our calf engaging and stretching. And now as we inhale, we're going to bring our right foot up beside our left foot. So we're going to inhale and step forward, lift our arms all the way up. Exhale. Again, inhale up and exhale. Beautiful. Hands to heart center. We're going to have a full moon, I think tonight. So we're just going to do a bit of a moon salutation. So in a moon salutation, if we want to build in balancing half moon, you can move a little closer to your wall if you like. And we're going to just start with stepping onto the mat with our feet wide apart. So our feet are wide apart, our arms are wide apart. So think about wingspan. So our wrists are facing forward and our feet are wide, and we're going to inhale as we sweep our arms straight up with our fingertips facing the opposite walls. We're just going to really feel that stretch. And then we're just going to bend our knees and bring our elbows into our waist. So we're going to bend our knees and bring our elbows to our waist in moon god pose. And then inhale as we stretch up again, feeling our fingertips wide, and then exhale as we come back into moon god pose. Do that again, up and exhale down, and inhale up and exhale down, and inhale, really stretching our arms up, and then exhaling down, bringing our hands to heart center. We're going to turn so that our right foot is back, our left leg is bent forward into a crescent lunge. We're going to lift our arms high, and we're going to take 5 breaths in this position. And then we're going to just bring our foot slightly closer, and we're going to straighten our front leg, hinging forward from the hips, exhaling as we come down into pyramid pose. And now here's where we can move right into balancing half moon. We can just step closer to our wall, lift our right leg up at hip height, turn so that we are all the way down. Arm is up, balancing half moon. And then bringing our arm down, bringing our leg down, coming back to our mat, pivoting. Actually, we're going to stay here, facing this way again, bringing that leg down, back into crescent lunge with arms high. And then turning. So our feet are wide, arms are open. Again, come down into moon god pose. Back up again. This is a moon salutation. Come back down again with elbows into our waist, knees are bent, arms are up, fingertips shooting up to the ceiling, legs are straight. Bring our elbows down into our waist. Up again, 2 more times. Elbows to our waist. All the way up. 1 more time. And then bringing our hands to heart center. Just turning so that our left foot is forward, our back foot is back, and we are in a crescent lunge with arms high. Just hold here for 5 breaths. And then we're just going to straighten our front knee, hinging forward into pyramid. This is what we do when we do our warrior series as well. Just going to hold here. And we can move into balancing half moon again from here. So we just are coming up. We're just bringing our leg up, turning again, and falling over. And then bringing that leg down, turning our feet, spreading our arms wide, coming back, bringing our elbows to our waist, coming all the way up, bending our knees and bringing our elbows to our waist, up again. Exhale as we come down. Inhale as we open up wide. One more time. Open up wide. And then let's bring our hands to heart center. Pivot again. Again, we're just in crescent lunge. Just holding here, bringing our arms up high. And then bringing our foot in slightly, just hinging forward from our hips into pyramid. And then we just won't do balancing the half moon this time. We will come up. We will come back into center. Arms are wide. Arms are up, facing the opposite ends of the ceiling. Bending our knees, bringing our arms to our elbows. Coming up again. Bringing our arms to our elbows. All the way up. And you do this 5 times. This is 3. 2 more times. And then up. Coming down. Bringing your hands to heart center, just turning the other way. Again, just into a crescent lunge. So our front knee is bent, our back leg is just, we're sitting into our hips, almost like short stance warrior 1. And then we are bending our front leg, hinging forward from the hips into pyramid. And again, 5 breaths. And coming up, bringing our hands to heart center, pivoting again. And now let's finish with prayer pose. And that is a moon salutation. So when we haven't done a lot of sun salutations or moon salutations, but that's a series that is a moon salutation. So let's stand up. Let's move into our warrior series. So let's step back with our right foot. Keep our left knee bent. Again, we want to make sure our feet are in a straight line. Our arms are high. And we are in long stance, warrior 1. We'll hold here for 5 breaths. And then we're just going to turn so that our hips are facing the long edge of the mat. Open up our arms, bring our shoulder blades together. Look out over our front hands. And we're in warrior 2. Drop our back hand to our back hip, turn our front palm over, side bend into reverse warrior. And now let's just hinge forward, just dropping our hand in front of our bent knee, turning so that our chest is facing the long edge of the mat. Arms are high in side angle pose. Now let's bring our arm down, bring our hands to heart center. Coming up, let's turn so that our right foot is forward, our left foot is back. Our heels are in a straight line. Arms are high, and we are in warrior 1. And then we're just going to turn so our hips are facing the long edge of the mat. Our front knee stays bent. Our arms are open. Our shoulder blades are together. We're working really hard to keep that front knee from drooping in. So we really push that knee back. And we're in Warrior Two. Now let's drop our back hand to our back hip, turn our front palm over, side bend into reverse warrior. Now let's hinge forward from the hip, drop our front hand in front of our bent knee, bring our other arm straight up into side angle pose. Let's bring that arm down. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Let's turn to do that series one more time. So let's move into long stance warrior one. Again, we want to have our sitting into our hips, so sitting back, not coming forward, bringing our arms high, balancing on the outside edge of our back foot in warrior one. And then turning, so our hips are facing the long edge of the mat, bringing your shoulder blades together, looking out over our front hand in warrior two. Dropping our back hand, turning our front palm over, side bend into reverse warrior. And then just bringing our front hand in front of our bent knee, bringing our right arm up, turning our chest so we're facing the long edge of the mat in side angle pose. Bringing that hand down, bringing our palms together, pivoting again. So we're facing the other way with our right leg forward with a bent knee. Again, making sure our heels are in line. Lifting our arms, sitting on the outside edge of our back foot in warrior one. Open up our arms, again, keeping that front knee from dropping in, shoulder blades together, looking out over our front hand in warrior two. Dropping our back hand down on our back hip, turning our front palm over, side bend into reverse warrior. And then dropping our right arm in front of our right bent knee, lifting our left arm up, turning our chest to face the long edge of the mat in side angle pose. Bringing your hands down, bring your palms together to heart center, keeping our feet wide. Let's sit down into prayer pose. Let's straighten our legs, press our hips behind us, bring our hands down to the mat or to a block, and just press our hips back, feeling the back of our body, continuing to breathe. Bringing our hands together, coming all the way up again. Let's just add that moon god pose again. So bring our arms up wide, fingers facing the opposite walls, bending our knees, and bringing our elbows into our waist, coming up again, bringing our elbows to our waist, coming up. Again, really stretching, 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 and then bringing your elbows to our waist again. One more time, all the way up, really pressing those fingers to the opposite wall, feeling a stretch all the way up, coming down, bringing your hands to heart center, sitting into prayer pose. Now pressing our hips back, bringing our hands to the mat or to a block. Knees can be soft, but a little bit straighter, pressing our hips behind us. And bringing your hands to heart center, coming all the way up again, bringing your feet in, and let's move into our balance poses before we go down to the mat. So let's start with tree pose. So we bring our heel to our ankle, and we can leave that with our toe on the mat if we like, or we can bring it up. We can bring our arms up high, wherever we'd like our arms to go, and stay balanced. There we go. Just tell our body we want to stay in one place. We don't want to move around. Our ankles protest. And then bringing our arms down, bring our foot to the mat. Perfect. Other side. So bring again our heel to our ankle, lifting it up to our shin. As long as we can bring it as far as we want, we can bring it all the way to our inner thigh, as long as it's not on our knee. Again, our hands can be wherever we would like them to be. Continuing to hold. Bring that foot down. Perfect. Now let's go up against that wall and do balancing half moon for the full moon tonight. So again, hips close to the wall, lifting our opposite leg, the one away from the wall, straight up to hip height, turning, bringing our other arm down, and so with the leg that is up behind you, that arm comes straight up overhead, and the leg that is straight, that hand comes all the way down, either to a block or to the floor, balancing half. And then we bring our leg down, come up slowly, turn to the opposite side. Again, just find space where we can just have our hips slightly touching the wall. Lift the opposite leg, turn so that our chest is facing forward, our arm straight up. The other arm is all the way down to the floor or to a block, and balancing half moon. And then to come out, we bring our arm down, we bring our leg down, come back to heart center, and let's move down to the mat. So let's face the short edge of the mat. Let's bend our knees, open up our arms, swan dive all the way down to the mat. And let's come down so that we're in a seated position. Bring our legs straight out in front of us. And again, if our legs are flat on the mat and we're comfortable like that, that's fine. If we have to bend our knees to in this position, then sit up on a block, and then our legs can be straight. And we're just going to lean slightly forward. We're going to feel a stretch just in our lower back. So we're just going to come forward. Doesn't matter how far we go, and we don't have to press. We just let gravity bring us down. And we're just going to hold in this position and just let gravity relax our back as we hold here. If it ever feels too intense, we just kind of sit up, reposition, and come back. These are the poses that we hold a little bit longer. So we want to find a way to quiet our mind, think about our breathing. Just think about breathing slowly in and slowly out, making sure we're completely filling our chest as we're doing that. And anytime that it feels good to kind of straighten up and come back down again, that's fine. Just letting the muscles relax. These are very tight muscles. Just hold here. Now let's come all the way up. Let's bring our right leg out long. Take our left leg and bring it into our thigh. And if our knee is up high, place a block under it to give it support. If it's flat, that's fine. But if it's up high, put something under it, a pillow or a block, just to give it some support. And we're just going to lean slightly towards our straight leg. Just hold again. We're going to hold this for a little bit longer. So we're focusing on breathing. Again, we shouldn't feel any tension in our knee. We should feel stretch in our inner leg. And if it's too intense, we just bring our leg in slightly. If we want more stretch, we bring our toes towards our shin. And just hold again. Now let's come up. Let's take our left leg straight. Let's bring our right, then push it all the way out. So it's on the, it's wide on the outside of the long edge of the mat. Again, bring our right knee into our inner thigh. If it's high, just place a block under it to give it some support, again, so that it's not just hanging there. And then we lean towards our left leg, just slightly. And one side is going to be much tighter, like this side for me is much tighter. So on this side, I need to have a block, whereas on the other side, I don't. Now let's come all the way up. Let's release that leg. Bring the other leg in, and let's come all the way down to the mat, just holding on to the backs of our legs. Let's come all the way down and bring our knees to the chest and just roll around on the mat. Now let's drop our bent knee, keeping our knees bent, drop our feet to the mat, and let's lift up into bridge pose. So let's lift our hips up, pressing through the soles of our feet. Let's press our hips up to the ceiling. And then come on down. So back is flat on the mat again. And then lifting up. So our hips are up to the ceiling, pressing through the soles of our feet. Coming all the way down again. bring our knees to our chest. Let's hold on to our shins and really press our shins and our legs into our chest. Let's really feel that stretch. Now let's drop our feet to the mat again with bent knees. Lift up one more time, really pressing our hips up to the ceiling, pressing through the soles of our feet. And coming down again, bringing your knees to our chest. Let's drop our right leg, bent knee, sole to the of the foot to the mat. Keep our left leg bent and lift up just with one leg and hold. And then coming down again, bringing both knees to our chest, and just letting our back relax. Now let's drop our left leg down, keep our right knee bent and lift up into one-legged bridge. Again, just pressing our hips to the ceiling. And coming down again, bringing your knees to our chest. Now let's take our left leg to the mat. Just bring it long so it's flat. Our left leg is flat. Let's take our right leg straight up to the ceiling. So have the sole of the foot facing the ceiling. And we're just going to hold it here, holding on to the back of our thigh or holding on to our calf. Or we could be holding it with a strap around the ball of our foot. And we're just going to do a bit of an inversion here. Our legs straight up. If we want more of a stretch, we can bring our toes towards our shins. So bring our toes there. You get the calf muscle. You'll feel the calf muscle stretching more when we do this. Now let's just roll our ankle. Let's roll our feet around. And now let's bring those toes towards our shin again, holding on to the back of our thigh or our calf, or holding it with a strap. Now let's release that leg down to the mat. Bring that leg long. Lift our right leg up, straight up to the ceiling. Again, holding on to the back of our calf. Sole of the foot to the ceiling. And again, to get more of a stretch, we bring our toes towards our shins. So just bend our foot towards our shins. Just hold here. Let's just roll our ankle. Let's roll our feet around, feeling our ankle flexing. Let's bring our toes towards our shin again. So we feel our calf muscle saying hello. Let's release that foot. Let's bring both knees to the chest one more time. Let's bring our feet into butterfly. Just let gravity bring our hips down. And bring our arms up to shoulder height. So we're opening up our chest at the same time. Now this is our final pose before our relaxation. So find the pose that feels best to you for final relaxation. Find a nice blanket, turn the lights down low, and I will bring you back into the room together in 5 minutes. So let's start to wiggle our fingers and our toes. Slowly bringing yourself back into the room. Let's rub our palms together feeling the warmth. And when our hands, our palms feel warm, let's place them over our eyes, feeling the warmth on our face and our eyes, and then slowly open our fingers, letting in some light. And coming over, come to the side of over to the side. And just relax at the side of the mat for just a couple of breaths. And when you feel ready, bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. And if it's easy for you to put your mic on so that we can connect together, that would be great. So thank you all for joining together today to practice. I hope you have a wonderful week, and namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Thanks. I think next week is Easter weekend, so there is unlikely to be a class, but I will confirm that by email.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.